Us now to fill in the details. talkTV's political correspondent Alicia Fitzgerald. Alicia, honestly, every hour we start this, and I'm sure that people at home, on the radio and on TV feel exactly the same. Explain why Rwanda, the bill, is back in everybody's minds this week. So what are we expecting this week?
So obviously we had that initial vote before Christmas. Let's just actually rewind it even further than that. Let's remember, so this scheme was first pitched by Priti Patel and Boris Johnson, and it was the idea that any migrants that arrive here gets deported to Rwanda straight away. This then was deemed unlawful by the Supreme Court. They said that Rwanda was not a safe third country for these migrants to go to. The government since have now launched this new bill to try and bypass that and say that Rwanda is actually a safe country.
Can I jump in for a reason?
Of course.
Many people say that it is. Many people say that it isn't. What do we know to be the truth? Is Rwanda a safe country? And if it isn't, why the hell was it suggested in the first place?
Well, ultimately, it is the European Court of Human Rights who do decide whether or not a country is safe. And sadly, no one else really has much of a say in this. The government, what they are trying to do now is say that actually Rwanda is a safe country. So this bill that we're seeing pass through, it isn't for the initial Rwanda scheme. It's called the Safety of Rwanda Bill, and it's just to basically try and skirt around the European Court of Human Rights, deeming that it was unlawful.
And here now lies a problem for the Prime Minister, because he wants to just get this bill passed through. His party, totally divided. We had this just before Christmas, and several MPs, about 40 of them, said, look, you need to toughen it up or we're not going to support you. OK, we're now in January. The Prime Minister hasn't done that, and we've got some pretty key characters, Lee Anderson, Kemi Badenoch, saying we won't support it in its current form.
Yes, we're seeing those towards the right of the party actually table some amendments to the bill. That is where they will pretty much stand up in the Commons when the debate happens and try and suggest things that need to happen to this bill before it gets passed. Those amendments include two key things. First one is that the government would be allowed to bypass what are called pyjama clauses, and they're called that because it's last...
I know what this is, because you can apply to a lawyer at midnight in his pyjamas, and of course, by the way, they love this, by the way. By the way, you'll never meet, will you, a human rights lawyer who doesn't love Rwanda, because they make hundreds of pounds every hour defending people who have no chance to get it. True or false?
Well, I'm not going to get into that, but pyjama clauses are called that because it's basically the idea that the European Court of Human Rights will be able to have last-minute judgments and stop flights from taking off. So the government are trying to bypass that. Yes. You look
I know. I wanted to say for the people watching and listening again, and actually for me primarily, the European Court of Human Rights. This is the big bone of contention. Can you explain a little bit of the history? Because this was set up, wasn't it, many, many, many years ago, so that we treated people fairly across the world. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
But the sceptics are saying it's not fit for purpose nowadays. And all the do-gooders jump up and down and go, we can't allow these poor refugees. And of course we can't. We proved that with Ukraine. But that's what they want gone, the right, don't they? Yeah,
lots of the people on the right. So that's people like Suella Braverman, former Home Secretary, Lee Anderson, Tory party chairman, people like that who take a more hardline approach to migration as a whole. They think that actually this system, the European Court of Human Rights, is actually just stopping us from actually making laws that actually the government should have the power to do.
And that group of MPs is quite large. I mean, it could be about 60 who are unhappy.
There's your majority gone.
Last time we had Rishi Sunak having kind of early breakfast meetings and really trying to do everything he could to say, you know, stay on side, stay on side. What's he going to be doing over the next 24 hours to win those people over?
Well, at the moment, we're already hearing that about 30 MPs are definitely going to support these amendments. That's already pretty much a rebellion of 30 people, which is actually quite a lot when you think about it, just how many MPs there are in Parliament, already knowing before the vote even happens that there are 30 who are really keen on these amendments is quite bad. So Rishi's just got a bit of a hard situation here, and I really don't envy him, to be honest. He's got the One Nation Conservatives, the more centrist Conservatives, saying that this approach, as the Rwanda Bill currently stands, is actually the way forward. It's a bit softer, and they think that leaving the ECHR is a bad idea. And then those on the right just saying something completely different.
But it's really interesting that you said you have some sympathy for him. I mean, you know, everybody has an opinion. He wanted this job,
well,
right?
Yeah, I didn't mean that too seriously.
He did a deal with Suella Braverman that he would get Rwanda through because he wanted Boris Johnson out. Now, if he was this clean brush, start again man, he should have said, I've got a different idea. Many people, by the way, are responding, and thank you, Alicia, just for now, but loads of you responding to the thing we threw out ahead of its return to the House of Commons. Do you believe in the Prime Minister's Rwanda plan? Kunal Once these illegal migrants are on British soil, it is impossible to send them back. The Rwanda scheme is just one big gamble.